There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment, and here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a great guest for you today. But first, Rochelle, how are you? And next to your mountains and all.
Yes, I love being here. I love being by my mountains in Salt Lake City. And it is raining and sunny. So I'm really appreciating how diverse the weather can be. And we have a great guest here today. I am going to let you bring her in because you were very excited more than I was. You knew the information.
Well, I got to tell you, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. And we're going to talk about NLP, which is something that I dearly love. And we're going to talk to a gal by the name of Lisa Manzo. Did I say that right?
Absolutely. Perfect. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, you're more than welcome, because you're going to provide us with lots of information about emotional intelligence and taking care of yourself in this. I don't know if you've noticed, but this is kind of a weird world we're living in lately. And emotional intelligence is kind of cool.
I have noticed it is a weird world, and navigating the best I can with the tools I have.
And tools, you have many. You have many tools. What would you like to talk about first?
Awareness. Awareness is a great conversation because that's where it all begins. We need to be aware of what's going on and our patterns, because we need to be aware, otherwise we can't change.
That is
absolutely
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where your journey started, is you realized that you all of a sudden maybe had awareness, or you needed it.
I was aware I was miserable.
Yes.
I can tell you, I was definely aware I was miserable. And I just decided that one day, okay, what am I going to do? Because I do not want to live this way any longer. And how can I help myself? And I knew it was all in my mind. So I started doing a lot of research, doing some courses. I learned NLP. That was a game changer for me, learning NLP, because it explains to me how my mind worked and why I was having those thoughts and how I could shift them pretty much instantly.
Yeah, because the NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, is a big deal, and it's almost like an acupuncture, and only it's self-inflicted. Only you do it for yourself, right?
You do it for yourself, and I surround myself with people who also want to do that, because you're like the 5 people you hang around with most. And I had to let some people go because they were not working on themselves, and I endeavor to be better every day.
That's a big deal, and so do we, Rochelle, don't we?
Yeah, I'd like to think so, because life comes in, but also, when life does come in, there's accountability, and there's awareness, and there is courage, and how you talked about, like, you're very, very aware. It's almost like, have you ever talked to somebody and they were just like translucent in a way to you?
What do you mean by translucent?
Like, whatever they were saying matched up to who you saw them as, but as you said, there was people that didn't match that, and you had to let them go. Were you just able to see them exactly for who they were and accept that right then and there?
Some people I was a little more attached to than I'd like to admit, and I had a harder time letting some of them go, because they'd been in my life for so long, and I do love them still. I'm just gonna love them at a distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The interesting thing now, are you, because you work with NLP and you work with emotional intelligence, I'm assuming that you're also interested in energy and vibration.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I can, people commenting to me regularly on how my whole aura and energy has shifted.
And because of that, you are acquainted with energy and vibration, sometimes we have people in our life that we were friends with before we changed our energy and our vibration, and they haven't. And so consequently, they're continuing to operate at that same level, but you're not. You're operating at a different level, and that makes the relationship harder to maintain. Would that be your experience?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely harder to maintain. And then at some point it's, well, I'm doing all this work and you're not participating. And this is a relationship. It works both ways. We have to work together to evolve and grow. And if you're not ready, that's fine. I'm going to keep moving. You can always catch up. That one, right?
That is a really positive way to put that. I'm gonna just leave this up to you, and I'm gonna move along and do what I do.
No,
Okay.
really, people can catch up. So what? So this is what happens. It's like, so if I'm the leader, right, and I'm leading the way, if I take the first step, they're not going to think that it's safe enough to come with me. They want me to go 10. Some people want me to go 100 steps. And yes, they can catch up. And I firmly believe that. I'm not just saying that. I actually believe that people can catch up. And I've had people catch up and I've had people stay behind. And the funny part about it is I never know who's the people that I think are going to catch up, they don't. And then the people that I think are never coming with me are right there with me. All of a sudden I look and they're right at my side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it phenomenal how people have the ability to adapt and change and do anything that they choose to do? Sometimes people just don't choose to do it, or the timing is wrong, not right. Right?
You can just decide. Yes, I believe absolutely that you can just decide when you want to change something and believe it wholeheartedly, and you can do it. I believe that. And I've had examples in my life that have come up that I know that I can validate this through my own life and my own decisions.
So now tell me your definition, because I've heard this term, it's kind of a catch term these days, emotional intelligence. What does that mean to you?
So for me, it means becoming aware of my emotions, right? So once I'm aware of them, then I can regulate them. And I'll give an example. I'm still working as I'm entering into entrepreneurship. I'm a nurse. And the other day on the morning nurse, I was getting a report from the other nurse and I was so angry. And I'm like, okay, I need 5 minutes. And I walked away from the nurse. I said, I'll be right back. I got to go to the restroom. I need 5 minutes. I need to shake this energy off me because I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what it is. And I need to not spill this out on you. So I'm aware that I need to change. And so what I did in that moment was I gave myself a pause. And I was kind to myself and I paused and I let myself reset. Did some breathing, went in the bathroom, did some deep breathing exercises, came back a different person because I'm aware of my emotions and I don't want to inflict my negativity because I was in a bad mood onto the person that is actually there to help me and give me a report and tell me about my patient. So emotional intelligence for me is awareness and then choosing your response.
Indeed. Because sometimes when you're in the wrong frame of mind, and I've heard this term, maybe I made this term up, you can emotionally throw up on somebody.
Emotional vomit. Yes, I love it. And yes, you can. And I didn't want to do that to her. And I felt myself going in that direction. And I'm like, I have to stop this because I'm ultimately in control of everything that happens in my life. And I want to take responsibility for that. And you know what? This other nurse did not deserve that. So I needed to walk away.
And that's emotionally intelligent response on your part. And Brichelle's changed a lot in the last couple of years because there was a time when she used to emotionally throw up in people all the time.
Oh yes. Yes, I was a professional thrower-upper of emotion. I'm like, you know what? I'm angry. We are angry, and I had the same thing happen, Lisa, when we were looking, and Kevin said, well, let's look at the show we have next. And everything that I read was like, oh my gosh, somebody else gets it. Somebody else understands. Because I think for me, it was dropping the fear, for one, of the awareness, right? Because when you become aware, then it's like hard not to be afraid of everything because you come face to face with yourself. But I looked at it from a different angle and I was like, wow, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And I think about how you mentioned what is it? NLP? Yes,
NLP.
yes.
Uh, Yep.
What was that experience like for you personally? Where was the shift that was like major?
It was just like, oh my God, there are tools to help me change the way I'm thinking. There are tools to help me change the way I'm feeling. I have choices. So I became a master practitioner of NLP, which just means I can teach it. Okay. So I teach it as well. And now, and I can use those tools to shift my thinking. And my friends and I have this thing going on where if I say something that's not serving me, they'll call me out on it. And they'll say, is there a better way you can say that? Because there is a better way that I can serve. And then sometimes I don't receive compliments because that's a childhood thing that I'm overcoming. And sometimes I won't hear you when you give me a compliment. And my friend yesterday, I didn't hear her when she gave me the compliment, so she repeated herself for me, and I thanked her for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm receiving it now. I'm receiving it this time. I didn't get it the first time, but I got it now.
And by the way, you are a very intelligent, wonderful human being, and stuff. Can you hear me now?
Thank you. Yes, I got that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kevin.
I'm just checking because sometimes you give a compliment to somebody and they don't get it. Or my favorite one, which is what I used to do, which is, oh no, you're just saying that. And like you're calling somebody a liar when they give you a compliment and tell them how great you're doing or what a great person you are, and stuff, and you call them a liar. And that's really shouldn't be allowed because they're trying to be nice to you.
It shouldn't be allowed, and it actually makes me laugh. So when somebody does that to me, I'm like, I'm going to say this again. Can you just say thank you? So I say, and then I'll repeat myself. Can you just say thank you? Because I'm saying it because I want them to receive it. And unless they say thank you, they're not going to receive it. It's just going to bounce off them. I said, just receive it. And they
Yeah.
laugh
Yep.
at me.
When you first
Go ahead,
started
Michelle.
learning these things, Lisa, and your brain started to comprehend what you were learning, was it more in your mind or was it more emotional with the shift of, was it thinking or emotions or both?
They're tied together. Your thoughts are tied to your emotions. Your word
Right.
is your wand, as I've heard, and the things that were coming out of my mouth were creating the emotions I was feeling,
Mm.
and so it's all tied together. And I wanted to, so I needed to shift my language and how I spoke to myself because I loathed myself at one point in my life. I don't even think I ever learned self love until the last 6 or 7 years in my life. I didn't even know. First time somebody said to me, "Well, you need to do some self love." I'm like, "What's that?" I never even heard of it, and I was in my 50s. I was like, I don't even have any idea what that is. And I tell that story because I want people to understand. I didn't know. I mean, just in all this stuff, I was so mean and bad to myself. I have this shirt that just says, be kind. And when I know I'm going out for a day that might be a little challenging, I wear it.
Yes.
That's but isn't loathing yourself a little strong, or did you
I
really?
did. I did. Look, I'm
How
going to
did?
get emotional. Look, I'm going to get emotional. You see it? Yes, it's not too strong a word. I was very mean to myself. And I
How
forget.
did you? At one point in time, by the way, you are a lovely human being, and we don't and we think the world of you. And don't cry, please, because I'm going to start. And Rochelle, I know, is going to go.
Don't get me started. I'm so bad right now.
But then I get to let it go. It's all good. I get to let it go, and I can show somebody else I can move on from it pretty quickly. And I am.
Well, and I wanted to ask you because you're a nurse during your day job, if you will.
Yes.
And how do you maintain? Because I've been in hospitals and I've been staying in hospitals and stuff after surgery and that kind of. How do you maintain your positive energy flow when there is so much pain and negativity around you?
Yeah, and I work in an interesting facility. It caters to a lot of homeless people and a lot of drug addicts, so it's really kind of depressing. But it's so funny because I'll walk around the halls and I'll be smiling, and the patients go, "What are you so happy about?"
You're making them mad because you're happy.
I'm like, "What are you so happy about?" And then some of them say, "Oh, it's so nice to see one of the nurses smiling," because most of them don't, right?
Yeah.
You ever go in the hospital? How many smiling nurses do you see? I haven't seen very many.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit of an oddity. And I just, when they say me, "What are you so happy about?" I said, "Well," and then I start down the list. I said, "Well, I woke up today. I had a good meal. I have a job. I have a nice apartment. I have a nice car." And then I said, "Do you want me to keep going?" I can, because I'm grateful for all the things I have. And that's why I got a smile on my face.
And the smile on your face is so helpful, and it's so instructive to so many people. And we are talking with Lisa Manzo, and we need to take a real quick break, but I want you to know that you are having an impact in Kenya currently. My elder brother, Kevin, and go ahead and read it, Rochelle.
Yes, I'm well. Of course, says hello, my elder brother Kevin and sister Rochelle receives greetings from Kiberia slums in Nairobi, Kenya. Thanks for this wonderful program with Positive Talk Show. Say hey to guest Madam Lisa Manzo. We are keenly watching with my team and preparing for tomorrow's feeding program. Yes, he says bless you all and God bless you, Samuel. Please send me pictures. I will be on the live if you have that out. And thank you for all you're doing and being here with Lisa. There's always a lot of learning, as you know. So.
And he feeds 350 children every Saturday. It is a real cool thing. But which in Kenya, that might mean that's their only major meal they get that week. And it really is important. And so you are an important aspect of what's going on in Kenya. Did you think about that when you got up this morning?
I had no idea. What a nice surprise.
Yeah. So we need to take a real quick break, and we will be right back with Lisa Manzo, and then we're going to talk more about emotional intelligence. I would love for you to explain how to do NLP to my associate to my direct left, because that might be something that she can utilize. It's another tool in the toolkit to maintain a positive lifestyle and keep your emotional intelligence intact. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely.
Amen, Kevin.
Amen.
Amen, Sister Rochelle. We'll be right back. Love, war, and freedom collide in The Girl of Many Crowns. Judith of Francia's story will take you from the heart of royal courts to the chaos of Viking invasions. It's a tale of resilience and courage that proves history is not just written by kings, but by women who dared to choose their own path. The Girl of Many Crowns is available now on Amazon Books, Kindle, Amazon Audiobooks, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Book Baby Bookshop. Don't just read history, experience it. Order your copy today. And welcome back, everybody. We are talking with Lisa Manzo, and she works with emotional intelligence. Go to her website, by the way, which is thephoenixmind.com. She works with emotional intelligence, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, trauma-informed coaching. She is a coach. She offers corporate training, public speaking, one-on-one coaching, and of course, courses for self-development and self-paced programs. And you can get all of it if you're a corporate leader, an educator, a healthcare worker, an entrepreneur, or just somebody who is trying to figure out this world and how to live in it without losing your mind and feeling like you have to put your head in a toilet. Because that's not how we want to live. We want to live happy. We want to live well. But sometimes it takes tools to be able to do that. And Lisa has gone on a journey and has found those tools, some of them anyway, and can help you out. So have I misstated that in any way, my dear?
I don't think so. I thought you hit it right on the head.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So now NLP. I would love for you, and I want this one for you to do an experiment with Rochelle and show her how it works, so that when occasionally she, being a young female, has gotten versus anybody else, I guess, has emotional issues, not issues, but well, you describe it, Rochelle.
Just emotional struggle, you know. And it reminds me, yesterday, Lisa, I finished our day here and I thought to myself, I am human. And why are we so damn hard on ourselves for being human? And I want you to talk about NLP because I'm more than happy to learn, and I'll be the guinea pig for everybody who also wants to learn. But I have to tell you this before we move on. Your light, have you seen the movie Grease? Please say yes. With John
Yes,
Travolta?
of course I
Okay,
have.
yes, of course. You remind me of Frenchie. You know
Okay.
how she
Yeah, I
is
like
just,
preaching. So
yeah,
happy.
she's just
Yeah.
this huge light. And when you said, like, I realized that the way I needed to take care of myself was what was important for me to move on in my life and have those relationships. And you vibrate that energy of taking care of yourself. But like the whole movie is, oh girl, don't worry about it. You know, just you here, let me give you these tools, let me give you these tips, and everything is going to be better. So I am more than happy to learn from you.
Awesome, and I'm happy to teach because I love to teach. So one of the first things we can do is, because it's all about neurolinguistic programming, right? Neuro for the brain, linguistics for the language, and programming. So we use our language to program our brain. Okay. So I'll give you the first one. This is really important, and it was really important, and it still is, and I use it every day. When you feel something is hard, we don't say this is hard, because that would be programming our brain. So we want to say, this is not easy. And if you're struggling and I tell you, oh, it's easy, I'm going to break rapport with you instantly. You're going to roll your eyes at me and you're going to say, this person doesn't know anything that I'm talking about. But if I say it's not easy, I'm doing two things here. One, I'm staying in rapport with you, right? Because I'm acknowledging and I'm validating how you're feeling. Okay.
Right.
Two, I'm programming your unconscious mind because I said it's not easy. I know it's not easy for you, right? Because our unconscious mind does not process negatives. It doesn't hear the word not. So even though your conscious mind heard the word not, I just told your unconscious mind that you could do it. How about that?
Or maybe walking around all day. Oh, this is not easy. You're gonna hear me screaming it. Wait, did you notice a huge shift when you did it with yourself?
Yeah, and then yes, and then I noticed a shift for parents. I help parents with this too, right? And when the kids are running in the house, right, and you say, "Don't run in the house, don't run in the house," what do? They keep running in the house. But if you tell them, we walk in the house, tell them what you want them to do instead of what you don't want them to do, it shifts their behavior. They stop running. It's proven. I've seen the kids do it. Every time I tell a parent to do it, they do it. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how easy that was."
They listen to me. They know. They have ears.
Well, because their brains are developing and they don't hear that word, so they just hear the word. They hear the verb run. That's all they hear. They continue to run.
So
Are adults the same way?
if you say we walk in the house, please, is that a good way to go?
Yeah, absolutely. You should tell them what to do instead of what not to do.
Okay. So if I told them I want you to sit down and read a book,
That would have to be something more along the lines of we read books in the house. Would that
Yes,
work?
that would be better. And then you also have to model it, right? You're gonna say we read books in the house and go watch TV, right?
or you expect me to read a book? I don't. Yeah, no.
I expect you to lead by example.
Now see now, Lisa, that's where you get into problem with parents because don't do as I do what I say. I don't know how many times I heard that growing up.
Yep.
It's like,
Me too.
I heard it too, so I didn't do it with my kids because I hated it.
so
Yeah.
what did you do instead?
I modeled the behavior I wanted. If they couldn't do it, why should I be doing that? And if I did need to do it because I was an adult, I would explain, hey, when you get to be older, you'll get to do this right now. Like you can't drive a car, you're only 10 years old. You just can't do it. Okay. But there are certain things that I don't need to be doing. If I'm not going to run across the street, if don't want my kids to run across the street, I want to show that example. If I want them to read, I'm going to read along with them. And it works because when my son was in high school, I could never get him to read the summer reading list. I'm like, okay, you pick the book, we'll both read it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? He picked the book, I read it first. I said, when are you going to finish that book? Because it was good. And so then we had the conversation about it. He's not reading it for no reason at all. He's reading it. And then we had the conversation about it. And he's like, oh, you're going to help me? You're going to do it with me? Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And we never had a problem after that. We did all the summer reading. We did it together. Both my children picked the book. We'd read it. And then we'd talk about it after.
How does this affect people when they, like, in their lives, when they're used to what all three of us experienced? How does that affect them in a way of what they actually have to go back and try to shift because that was provided, if that makes sense?
Well, you're when you do that with them, you're actually shifting it for them, and it's not actually going to work for them to do because you're actually you're making the shift for you, which will carry on to the next generation because you're showing them the way. Okay, we're going to do this together, and they're much more agreeable to that because it makes them feel good. Plus, you're giving them attention, and kids want attention, so you're giving them positive attention in this way at this time, and like kids don't say no to attention.
Yeah.
Hardly never.
They say no to cleaning.
Well, if I can, being a former parent, now I have middle-aged men, but being a former parent, if you can convince everybody in your family to load the dishwasher the same way, you would have a lot less struggles in the family, I think.
I have a question for you. Why does everybody have to load it the same way?
Because that's the way you're supposed to do it, darn it. That's what and well, it's because somebody in the house and not me and the one that was in charge would then reload it after one of us didn't load it correctly, so they would reload the thing, and it's like, it's going to get clean. Oh, but it's not going to get clean the way I want it to get clean. So it's got to be this way. So
well, then you should do it.
Yeah.
so inevitably what ends up happening is you just put the dishes in the sink, and she says, how come you're not loading the dishwasher? Because apparently I can't do it right, so I'm not going to do it. So
anyway.
Lisa, I have to ask you though, before you started going through this, was one of your things a problem avoidance? Did you recognize that?
Yes. So I still work on that. I work on that. Thanks for asking. It's a great question. I work on that. Like, I always avoided conflict. I always avoided having the hard conversations, and I don't avoid it anymore. The conversations, you're going to have the conversation. We got to set a time for it. You can't hit me up right when I came home from work. Hey, we're going to have this really tough, hard conversations. Those need to be scheduled for me. And that's for me. And that's for me being kind to myself because I need to emotionally prepare for this. I know I'm going to need to do some deep breathing. I know I'm going to hear some things that I may not like and yet are true, because I am a parent. I did make mistakes. I have these conversations with my children, and they know that if they want to talk to those, they have to tell me in advance. They can't just, hey, we need to talk about this right now. I mean, of course, it's an emergency. We talk about it right now. And if it's not and it can wait, we schedule it.
I would really love your input on this, and that is this. When I have said, and I said it to her just the other day, I said, we need to talk. And she was like, What did I do? Her immediate
So scared.
response is, oh, what did I do wrong? How can I say it better so it doesn't infer that I'm going to be calling somebody on the carpet, and that
I got it. Okay, so my first question to you is that the only time you say we need to talk? Or do you say we need to talk when there are good things happening?
oh, in this particular case, it was a good thing that we were going to talk about, but she took it as a bad thing because that's
There was an
maybe.
exclamation point. So it was, Kevin says that, oh, we need to talk, or there's news. And I've never usually take it bad. But the exclamation point made it equally exciting and equally terrifying because I was like, okay, this could be really good and this might be really bad. And so I just called him, and that's probably where I went wrong.
Well, no, there's no going wrong. It's just like you guys need to agree on this, and we need to talk good, or we need to fix something, and just be direct. And then she already knows, and there's no wondering. You take the wonder out of it, right?
Yep, that would probably in her mind would have been helpful, because then what ends up happening is she stews on it for a while because, oh no, there's going to be something and I don't know what it is, and then and all of that. So by the way, we're talking with Lisa Manzo, and go to her website, which is, and I got before we go to break, I want to ask you, the Phoenix Mind. Where did you come up with that, and what significance does it have for you?
Okay, so if you'll notice, my logo is in blue. It's not on fire any longer. I'm not red and yellow. So my logo is blue because I've overcome the fire and the ashes, and I've risen. So when I came up with that name, I was still in a lot of emotional pain. And I was trying to figure out, like, what represents how I'm feeling right now. And I read what it was is I felt like I was burnt and out, and I was just ashes, and I just needed to be reborn. And that's how the Phoenix Mind came up. And the rebirth comes in my mind. And I see there's a lot of people online using the Phoenix, this and that. And the bird is always red and yellow and on fire. And I'm like, well, I don't want that red and yellow bird because I've overcome that.
Perfect.
Love that.
So go to thephoenixmind.com and find out more about her. And when we come back from this break, we're going to talk more with Lisa about saying things in a more positive way, and that and language is a very powerful thing. And you can do it properly and say good things, or you can drive yourself crazy. And we're going to try not to drive ourselves crazy. So we're going to talk with Lisa, right? It's just a minute, so stay right with us, everybody.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Lisa Manzo is there, and Brachelle's over there, and we're having a great conversation about emotional intelligence, which seems to be sometimes a conflict in terms, isn't it?
Can be.
Depending on your perspective. Lisa, so many times you brought up what I would say we learn as boundaries. How big was that for you? Like, were you taught that at a young age, or did you have to kind of like
I had no boundaries.
learn it and
I had no
bring
boundaries.
it in?
I had no boundaries. I was not allowed to have a boundary as a child. I was not allowed. I could never say no. I had to do what my parents say. I did not have boundaries, and I had to learn about boundaries that and setting them for myself, and they're very important, and I didn't realize how important they were. And I'm really good at setting them. I always take a few minutes. Like if I know if something's pushing my buttons because I'm feeling it emotionally, I can tell. And I'm like, okay, how do I respond to this and set the boundary? And there's a couple of NLP techniques that you can use, and I'm going to give you one right now. So when somebody is insisting on you doing something, and you've just had like the longest day at work, or you just did 3 million errands, and you got zero in your tank, and you need to go refill, and they're wanting you to go out that night for dinner. So the answer is, I would love to. And can we schedule it at a time when I can give you my complete attention, because you deserve my complete attention. And right now I'm not able to do that. How's that for setting a boundary?
Perfect. I usually just say, I'm maxed out. Can we try another day? But that also lets them know, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for wanting this time with me. By reciprocating that, I'm going to give you my all. And right now I cannot. So that is gold.
And the other thing I want to say, though, if it's a no and it's a hard no, be kind to both of you and just give them the hard no. No, it's not going to happen. It's not ever going to happen, and I don't want to do it. But don't say it like that.
Yeah.
say it kind. Say it kindly. Say, that's just really not in the schedule right now. You just need to be. It's kinder to not let people think that door is open. Oh, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? If you know it's not.
Yep.
So if somebody asks you to do something and you say something like what I've been known to say is, does that mean that I have to leave my house? And they say, well, yeah. I say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't leave my house. Does that?
I know ways to get him to leave the house, though.
Yes. The only way is to set my house on fire, then I'll leave. And unless I'm entertaining somebody, but a lot of times I like to stay home, but then I don't. But then if they say, "Can I have your address?" No. Why? Because you're liable to show up when I'm not expecting you, and I don't want you to be here, and kind of stuff. I don't know, but language is a very important thing, isn't it?
It's very important, and you can say anything to anybody, and it's how you say it. And sometimes we need to. You don't need to say it right that moment. If you need to figure out a way to say it kinder and softer, and it doesn't have to like. I always had to give my response immediately, right? That was demanded of me. I never had thinking time. And you know what? I'm okay. It's okay for me to have some thinking time, and I'm going to respect myself and give myself some thinking time. And if you can't give me that thinking time and you need an answer right now, the answer right now is no. If you want to allow me the thinking time, I process it, and if it's something I want to do, you'll get a different answer. But if you're insisting on an answer right now, it's a hard no.
That's interesting. So, Lisa, I have to ask you, when you came to this awareness and you decided through the way you saw you were talking to yourself and the way others also speak to themselves, and you were like, hey, maybe let's not do that. Was it helpful, or in your mind, did you go back and see little Lisa and think, would I say this to her? And was it helpful?
I don't think I said anything to little Lisa, because I think I was just overwhelmed trying to be that people pleaser that I was. Yeah. So here's a funny story. Okay. The only time I ever got attention is if I got hurt. I just can't tell you the number of scars I have on my body, because I was always falling down. I was always getting hurt, because that was my way to get attention. And so one of my mentors said, that's programming. You're doing that on purpose. And I was not aware of that. And then he said that to me, and I'm like, oh God, that's true, because it's the only way I was getting attention as a child. So I was always falling down, always getting hurt. And I said to myself, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to walk without falling. I'm going to do this. And I kept saying to myself, I stopped falling that day. Once in a while I
All of a
do.
sudden you realize I have balance.
I stopped having those things for attention. Now when I fall, it's completely unintentional. It's not like, but I could see where some of the things that happened to me were my fault. And I created it.
How do you come to that realization? Because a lot of people don't. They do all kinds of behaviors, and they have no idea why they do what they do, and they're not thinking deeply enough as to why they do what they do.
But also to approach it with love, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Instead of be bad.
I'm going to thank my ex-husband for this. Okay. I'm going to thank him for this. So I could see in his life, the only time he got attention was when he was sick or he was in trouble. Okay. So he was always sick. He was always in trouble. Not so much trouble as an adult, but he was always sick. I can't tell you how many things. When we were married, he'd have a semi-annual trip to the hospital, and I became aware of it in him. And I started to think, why does he do that? And then I realized, okay, he's doing that. What am I doing that's similar? Because like attracts like, and I got to be doing something of my own that for attention, because he's doing that, and what am I doing? And that's when I found out the falling thing. And then the mentor told me I could change it, because at that point when I figured it out, I didn't know I had the power to change it.
That is so interesting, because I wish I could have changed this, but when I was a kid and I spoke up, I got sent to my room, which is why it's hard to shut me up now. Because I got sent to my room so many times and stuff, and I couldn't prevent that. It just kind of happened, because apparently when I was a kid I was annoying. I think I'm annoying now, but maybe less so. I don't know, Rochelle. What do you think?
No, Kevin, you're not annoying. It's like I told Kevin this, Lisa, just a few weeks ago, that all I ever got in trouble for when I was a kid is I wouldn't shut up. Rochelle never shuts up. Rochelle's always talking. But then when I stopped talking, people were like, something is wrong with you, right? So I found that if I wanted attention, sometimes it was to stop talking and to be able to be heard. But now we get paid to talk. All the everything that everyone tried to shut down in me and Kevin, even when I started learning this, and Kevin was like, no, the fear is not real unless you place it there. And so it created this whole thing in my head where I would just allowed myself to be who I was, but also to be aware of it. And I think I've noticed that that's kind of where a lot of people get stuck, is I'm aware of these things. But how am I just supposed to allow myself to be if I want to change everything about who I am? Did you go through that?
I did go through that. And then part of my healing was I needed to set some distance to heal from the people that were going to be in my life always and forever, no matter what. I needed to put some distance, so I wasn't around the corner. They couldn't call me up and say, hey, come over for dinner today. And so I moved from New York to North Carolina to set that distance and to give myself time to heal, because I needed to be with me and take care of me. And I couldn't do that with being where I was living in New York, because the demands of me from family, because I was still a people pleaser and I hadn't learned how to say no. I had to work on that.
Yeah.
How did you learn to do that? Because there's so many of us people pleasers that it's really hard for us to say no. How did you do that? How did you work on it and be successful in that?
Well, the first thing I did was I stopped saying yes to everything. I started saying, oh, I got to think about that. Let me see how that works for me. Let me see how that works for me. That was huge, because I'm not going to just do what you want because you're saying it. And it's a polite way to say it. And yet it's kind to myself. Let me see how that's going to work for me. And then I would have to actually sit down and give it some thought. Okay, what's it going to do for me? How's it going to benefit me? And is this something that really speaks to me that I actually even want to do?
Yeah. Did
And
you
we're-
notice that people started respecting you like 10 times more and were able to see you clearly, maybe? Or was
I
that
got
a part to play?
lot of pushback
Mm.
because I was no longer
Yes.
the easy yes. Oh, Lisa, let's get Lisa to do it. And it crosses boundaries, right?
Yep.
It crosses all areas of your life. The other day at work, one of the nurses, what she couldn't figure something out, and she couldn't find something, and I told her where it was, but the old me would have went and got it for her.
Mm.
Ah,
I knew where it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
It's a
How's
big
that?
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, then
it's
you're teaching people to take care of themselves. So you're actually helping them.
yeah, right. You're teaching them how to fish. That's how the
Yeah.
saying goes.
yes, indeed. So, Lisa Manzo, we need to take a real quick break. And when we come back from this break, I want you to tell our audience how they can get a hold of you. And, that's probably the best way to phrase that. How they can contact you and can work with you, because you've got a lot of skills and you can help people with emotional intelligence, and you might even be able to help me learn how to speak. But we'll take this break and we'll be right back right after this. Stay with us. This is brand new, everybody, and I'd love Lisa's opinion on it when we come back. For way too long, we've allowed shadows to dictate our steps. Our clamor of division, the whisper of fear, and the harsh grip of hate. They've tried to define us. But this is our moment of truth. We remember who we truly are, not just separate islands, but a vast ocean of shared humanity. We declare our independence from the narratives that have pulled us apart. We choose curiosity over judgment, empathy over indifference, understanding over accusation. This isn't about ignoring our differences. It's about celebrating the strength woven into our tapestry. It's about remembering that progress isn't built on exclusion, but on common ground. So let the banners of kindness fly high. Let the anthem of unity ring out. This is our declaration, our independence from what limits us, our freedom to truly connect. Because together we are stronger. And together we are free. And this declaration is brought to you by Positive Talk Radio. And welcome back, everybody, to Positive Talk. Lisa, what'd you think of that piece?
Oh, I love that because we are stronger together. When we work together, we get things done faster. And people have so many different perspectives. So this morning I had made a post on Facebook, and my marketing guy says, "Hey, you might want to change that because it's the emoji I picked was contradicting the post that I was making." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I see your point. Let me go fix that." And I just I don't have to take it personally, and we're working together to help my brand.
And let's talk about your brand. If you're a marketing person, I love marketing people, by the way, but if your marketing person were to describe your brand and who you are, how would he describe you?
So excuse me, let me start over. Focus on emotional intelligence and with a base of healing emotional trauma. I was very emotionally traumatized as a child, so I want to help people through that and let them know that there is healing on the other side. And my slogan is progress instead of perfection.
There is no such, I don't believe, now correct, I could be wrong, but perfection, there was one guy 2,000 years ago, I think, that was perfect, and nobody else had been that since. So it is a never-ending process, and so it's the journey, isn't it? It's the everyday, it's the doing a little bit better today than we did yesterday. Is that a good philosophy to have?
It's a great philosophy. I live by that. If I'm better than I was yesterday, I'm doing great.
And that's the whole idea. Rochelle?
Yeah, I'm thinking, did your perspective on just the little things change when you started to change too? You started to just have so many things through the day you were all of a sudden just so grateful for? Because because I experienced that a lot.
Oh, absolutely. The little things changed so much. Was like, so I leave my charger around places regularly. So finally, I had my last name on it, but at work, people don't know my last name. I said, oh, I need to put my first name on this. And of course, the day I put my first name on it, I left it at work and somebody texted me, hey, I have your charger. I'll give it back to you. And so the old me would have been angry with myself, one, because I lost the charger. And I wouldn't have got it. The old me wouldn't have got it back because I wouldn't have wrote my name on it. And so I'm just grateful for that. I'm just grateful for all the little things that happen because I'm aware. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, perfectly. Because when you were talking, I was thinking about how we take criticism. And as a person with struggling emotions, criticism is like a direct hit, right? We don't understand that there can be a positive to that. And I'm guessing you finally experienced the shift, like how you said that so he told you about that emoji, and you didn't take that personally. You just said, hey, you know what? Actually, you're right. And I understand that.
Let me take a look at it, because you're probably right. There's something, if you're saying, if it's confusing to you, it's confusing to somebody else. And people don't think the way I think. They think their own way. And if he thinks it's confusing, then it is.
That's
unless of course it's not.
Yeah, he's wrong. No.
Because Lisa and I will stand on this, is that because of who you are and the work that you've done, you don't need to take a backseat to anybody.
No,
you know what you're talking about, and you know who you are. And if somebody says that's not who you are, Lisa, then they're not fit to be in your company, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Oh, I laugh at people. I have somebody that shushes me, and the last time that person shushed me, I said, listen, if I'm not your friend, that's fine. Stop shushing me. You're not my mother. This is who I am. You don't like it, there's the door.
Yeah.
It's right there.
And what was their response?
Well, I still see him, and he doesn't shush me anymore.
He didn't want to go out that door. And before we end this, I have to say this too, Lisa. I'm thankful that you brought this to me and Kevin's attention. And Kevin, thank you for bringing it up, because Kevin, you rewired my brain when you texted me that we needed to talk, because I was so used to taking that as, if somebody needs to talk to me, then I did something, you know, like it's not good. And I call him and he's so excited and he's so happy. And he's like, the first thing he says, do you know how amazing you are?
Isn't that nice?
I was stopped in my tracks, because a lot of us, we deal with other people's language and other people's communication and their emotions and other things. And we don't meet them where they're at. We meet them where we are. And when I met Kevin where he was at, he rerouted the whole thing and told me, no, child, I'm calling you. We need to talk about how amazing you are. I have never in my life, Lisa, had somebody that appreciated those things. Have you gotten that from other people where it's like, Lisa, oh my God, like I appreciate you because of what you've brought to the surface in me?
Oh, I've gotten there, and I want to tell you something about appreciation. You have to give it first in order to get it.
Yeah. That's true. We're all a little weird with compliments, aren't we? We all get all red and we're smiling helping. But that's what we need more of, and you're just living proof of it. I'm amazed that you had the courage to say, hey, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. And I'm also going to enjoy it along the way. I'm not going to push, and I'm not going to pull, and I'm not going to have too many expectations of others. I'm just going to move on my own path. And I think that's really, really difficult for us to come to terms with.
And I want to make sure that everybody understands this, because of the work you've done and the work you're continuing to do, and both the self-work and the self-love and the love of others and the appreciation of others as well. You're a much happier person now than you were years ago, aren't you?
Oh, so much happier.
And so therefore, that's why you should call Lisa. If you are not happy and you don't know why, and you're doing behaviors that you can't figure out, just a real quick story. I have to tell you this. I have a dysfunctional behavior. It's because I cannot find a way to put my vacuum away. And the reason I can't put my vacuum away is because when I was a kid and my mother, I said, can I go play? And she said, no, clean your room first. And so occasionally I got motivated. And so I cleaned my room thoroughly, got the vacuum out, vacuumed under the bed and did all that stuff, put the vacuum away, closed the door, and she came home. And I said, can I go play now? And she said, no. And I said, why not? She said, you need to clean your room. And I said, I did. And she didn't even look. I said, I did. And she said, you know why I know you didn't clean your room? I said, no, why? And she said, because the vacuum isn't out.
Oh my gosh. And I can tell you, Lisa, this is true. I've been to Kevin's house and his vacuum was in the most random spot, but it was out.
I cannot, and I was thinking about that one day. I was looking at it going, why don't I put the vacuum away? And then the story came up in my mind. It was like, aha, this is my brand of independence. You tell me to put it away. I don't get credit for putting it away, so screw it. I'm not putting it away. Now, nobody's here to know that.
You have to prove it to yourself.
Yeah. But that's how insidious sometimes our brain operates, is that we get, and so we've got to figure, it takes time. Sometimes it takes somebody to help us understand why we do what we do when we do them, and so that we can make those changes. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's like, look at these patterns. Why do I do that? Just ask the question. You know, you might not get the answer immediately, but your unconscious mind will give it to you. It might take a couple of days, but it'll pop up.
And keep in mind, this happened almost 50 years ago, and it's like it happened yesterday. I still remember everything about it, and that's how. So, Mom and Dad, if somebody tells you that they've cleaned their room, go look at their room. Don't just assume that they didn't do it, because it scarred me for life for the last 50 years. My vacuum has never been away yet.
So how do we help Kevin find a place for his vacuum?
The next time you go to his house, have him put it away and say, oh, Kevin, how nice that you put the vacuum away.
You cleaned. It looks so good.
There isn't even a place for me to put the vacuum away. I haven't even figured that out.
Well, we'll create one, Kevin, and next time you vacuum, you better call me. And I'm going to keep this promise that I made in front of Lisa, and I'm going to give you recognition.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and that's the other. Oh, never mind. We don't have time for that. But Lisa, I want you to tell everybody in our audience something that will make them think and go, today.
Is when you're repeating the same problem, you're like, and you're getting the same result. You say, when the next time it comes up, say, what else am I going to do? What else can I do? Because I don't want to do the same thing. I want to get a different result. I get a piece of paper. Okay, this is what I usually do. On the other side, I write, these are all the other options. Pick another option.
There's the key thought right there.
Another option.
That's really important. So and because don't we all spend a lot of time doing the same things over and over again? I think Einstein or somebody said the definition of insanity is
doing the same thing over and expecting different results. But to realize, I think in that, Lisa, you just said it, that we have choice. And a lot of us don't remind ourselves that.
We always have choice.
Always have choice. Yes.
That's a freeing thought, don't you think?
It is.
Makes me want to run around.
So go to
that's why.
So go to Lisa's website, which is the phoenixmind.com. Find out all about her. Learn to have her teach you about linguistic programming or neuro-linguistic programming and emotional intelligence, and then to give Kevin English lessons. That would be good too.
Okay, I'm a teacher. I can do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for spending your time here with us, Lisa, and giving your knowledge. I'm amazed that there's other women out in the world that are like, hey, I've seen myself and now I can see you as well. So just remember, I want to leave this episode saying that Lisa reminds us we have choice and you're capable of all the things that you never thought possible. And you're living proof of that. So thank you for spending this time with us.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.